All right, many people enjoy parts of Milwaukee's Oak Leaf Trail, but not many have heard the backstory behind the trail.
Now we have this brand new book. It's Milwaukee County's Oak Leaf Trail, A History. The author, Jill Maher, joins us now on the yellow couch to tell us a little bit more. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This is pretty cool. I didn't know that it had a different name at first. So it used to be what, Trail 76 or what was it?
Yes, it opened as the Milwaukee 76, which was 76 miles for the bicentennial of the country. So clever, right? They matched up the last two digits of the year with the distance. And people really remember that. They had some really patriotic signs marking the trail, and people really enjoyed it. And it was just for bicycling then.
Okay.
Neat. So why did you write this book? What made you decide, hey, this is a book that just needs to be out there?
Yes, well, I was writing an article for the Bayview Compass newspaper, and I kept searching for a book, and I realized no one had written one, even though the trail is so well loved and does have such an interesting history. And so I went ahead and did all the research, and I also have a lot of fond memories of biking and stuff with my family. So I grew up in New Berlin. My dad was a police officer there, so he didn't always have the weekend off, but when he did, we would get out there onto the trails and enjoy all the various parks for either hiking, biking, skiing. And so kudos to all the parents out there who are getting out with kids, and the grandparents taking kids out now. I think they'll really remember it. I didn't always love waking up early to do those type of things, but now I look back on it so fondly.
Well, isn't that true? That's so the truth. Any of those things as a kid that you're kind of like, now you look back as an adult, you're like, that's what you remember and love. So it's pretty neat. When did the trail change? When did the name change and it changed from just being able to bike on it to more?
Right, it became multi-use officially in 1996, so the Parks Department realized that, fairly recently, the Parks Department realized, it had been quite a long time since the bicentennial, and they had opened it to multiple uses. So now you see bird watchers out there, you see people walking or just appreciating the lake or the woods, so people just love it in so many different ways, and I like to see people skateboarding out there and all those different things now.
That's neat. What was, as you're researching and putting together this book, what was the most interesting thing that you learned, or maybe the most surprising?
I really love talking to people, so I got to hear some really epic riders' tales of being out there. For example, someone who's ridden all the way around Lake Michigan, and he started on the Oak Leaf with a buddy after a lot of training, about 2 weeks, I believe. Or others who have loaded up their bikes and done the Oak Leaf to the north and then connected to the inner urban and gone camping up in Belgium, which is a beautiful state park up there. And so just hearing all those different ways people are using it was great. So when I told people I was writing a book, they would really light up. And they would say, I love the Oak Leaf. And I was like, yes, so do I. It's so beautiful.
That's cool. You got a lot of really cool stories to add. You also have a really cool foreword. And talk a little bit about that, because it's a prominent name here.
Yes, Amelia Kegel agreed to write the foreword, and of course she's co-owner of Wheel and Sprocket Bike Shop, and she's a very bona fide rider herself. She's done over 3,000 miles on her bike one summer when she did some camping at organic farms with a group, and she just agreed to meet with me, and that was really nice. A lot of Milwaukeeans are so open, I'd reach out and they would be available to tell me their story. And so she shares in the foreword writing with her dad, who of course was monumental in a lot of the trails organizations here in this area. And she remembers riding as a 10-year-old, and he would take her and explain how these trails came to be, and it takes decades of planning to get these interconnected trails. The Oak Leaf now is 125 miles. And they're always improving it and adding on, and so all that land, takes a lot of intergovernment cooperation actually. So it's kind of a friendly story of different governments cooperating, cities and counties, making this happen.
Because where does it start now and where does it end?
It doesn't have an official start and end, which is something I think is cool. So it's kind of a make your own adventure. So some people still do the whole thing in a day, over 100 miles. Others just might do a few city blocks equivalent, or just go look at the lake and just appreciate nature, get away from our screens for a while.
Yeah, it's always good. And I think people don't realize how much effort and work and planning, like you mentioned, went into putting together a trail like this. Do you have a favorite section of the Oak Leaf Trail, or one area that you always like to go back to?
So you're asking me to pick just one.
Like a baby, right? Like a child.
So I would have to say the South Shore line is really beautiful. People could park by the South Shore Pavilion, and then to the north is a yacht club that's beautiful if people are out sailing.
And which city or town is that part?
That's in the Bayview neighborhood.
Okay.
So South Shore Park, and then if you continue south, you stay in Parkland for a majority of the way. 8 miles south of there is Grant Park, which has a beautiful clubhouse. And so that's a nice round trip if people are able to do about 16 miles. And you're protected from traffic, so it's a good place even to take kids to go out and explore.
Yeah, it's safe. I know it's like Bike to Work Week and all that fun stuff.
Right.
And these are cool. Like, it looks like a vintage sign versus the new sign.
It's a vintage sign, and people love seeing that one. It brings back a
Cool.
lot of memories from those patriotic days of 1976. And then these, of course, are the modern signs.
Very cool. Love it.
I love that. Yeah. Where can people get a copy of your book?
Boswell Books is carrying it, South Shore Cyclery down in Cudahy, and several other of the larger bookstores that have a regional section.
And you're
are
doing
carrying
a
it, so-
signing too on Friday, the 7th of June.
Yes, that's at Historic Milwaukee down on Michigan Avenue, so I'd love to see people there.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Bike
Great
there.
book. Yeah,
Right?
you got to bike. You can't walk or drive. You got to bike.
You have
there.
to bike or you can't get a book.
Yeah.
Here's the book talk, though. It's going on again Friday, June 7th. It's at 6 o'clock at Historic Milwaukee, which is right on Michigan Street. You can get the book as well or learn more at oakleaflove.com. Thanks so much, Jill.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Happy
nice to
trails.
meet you.
Thank you. Same
That's
to you.
awesome.
That's cute.